But this all leads to the biggest question, the one you're probably asking right now. Why? Why would anyone stage such a horrific spectacle? Well, according to the book, it wasn't just for one reason. There were two very distinct aims, happening at the exact same time.
On the one hand, you have psychological control, and on the other, you have financial preservation. And the really crucial part, according to this theory, is that these two goals weren't separate at all. They were designed to work together, with each one reinforcing the other to get to the ultimate objective.
All right, so first up, let's talk about the psychological side of things. The goal was to literally haunt the psyches of people in the West. And how do you do that? By creating new exotic phantasms, a new scary enemy from a faraway land. The idea was that this constant fear would make people rally around their leaders, drawing them back to the homeland's bosom to feel safe.
But that fear? Well, according to this thesis, it also served a totally different purpose. A much more concrete purpose. Preserving a financial empire. And this is where the motive shifts from just psychology into the nitty-gritty world of geopolitics and big money.
And this is where the argument gets really specific. It argues that the financial goal was all anchored by a military campaign centered on Afghanistan's poppy fields. Now, why would that be? Because, according to the book, to keep the financial empire going, you needed to control the massive multi-billion-dollar heroin trade. So from this point of view, the war on terror in Afghanistan, it wasn't just about hunting terrorists. It was about securing an absolutely immense source of wealth.
And this show, this whole televised narrative of heroes and villains, it wasn't a one-off special. Nope. It was a long-running series kept on the air for 20 straight years, all to keep reinforcing those original goals of fear and financial control that supposedly began with that first broadcast massacre.
So, when you put it all together, what are we left with? At the end of the day, this whole thesis forces us to ask a really uncomfortable question. It reframes our history as a kind of theater. And if that's the case, if what we see on the news is a carefully constructed spectacle, then who is actually writing the script? Look, we've really just skimmed the top of the arguments in Guido Preparata's Phantasmagoria. If this has you curious and you want to dive deeper into this whole thesis, the author's website is the place to go. Thanks so much for tuning in.